All right, I want to welcome everybody to our gut and autoimmune class. And this is really important class because 80% of your immune cells live in your gut. And with COVID-19 going crazy out there, this is the best time to have a strong immune system. And remember, your immune system is controlled by your nervous system. It's influenced by your lifestyle, but it's controlled by your nervous system. So your adjustments is the most important part of having a strong immune system. But the second most important part of having a strong immune system is having a strong gut, okay? And so we're going to cover the gut health today and how that leads to other problems and sicknesses. And one of the things I want to make sure that everybody knows is that when you have 100 trillion microorganisms living in your gut, those are having to be at balance all the time. And when those organisms are working properly, you work properly. But when there's an imbalance, when their bad bacteria outweighs the good bacteria, it sets us up for all kinds of sicknesses, infections, metabolic problems. We can get weight gain, we get all kinds of problems. But remember, a healthy immune system depends on a good gut flora. So let's make sure that we always have good gut flora, okay? And most of us, unfortunately, don't have good gut flora. And so remember, the gut has 4 primary jobs. Number 1, digest food. So if your gut's not healthy, you're not absorbing all the expensive, healthy food you're eating. You're not absorbing the vitamins and the minerals you're taking. So what a waste of money, okay? Your gut has to also convert vitamins into building blocks. And it also has to absorb all your nutrients. It has to prevent the toxins and pathogens from entering your body. So the gut has 4 main functions. And when any one of those is out of alignment, you're going to have some kind of health condition. Now, a healthy digestive system contains over 500 species of good bacteria, along with a balance of yeast and other organisms. Most common types of good bacteria, lactobacillus and bifidobacteria, those are what we call the good ones. The equilibrium of the bacteria is vital for proper digestion and intestinal health. So that means you need to make sure that your good bacteria is much more prolific than the bad bacteria, okay? Now, foods that aid in detox and gut health are glutathione. Glutathione is a primary antioxidant produced in the body. It's made up of amino acids to help deliver detox. Some of the foods that have a lot of glutathione in them are broccoli. Sulfur-rich foods help by binding the sulfur to toxins, which allow the glutathione to destroy the toxins. Also, toxins and stress and trauma and sickness can cause deficiency of glutathione, which then can lead to the bad bacteria overgrowth. Also, garlic, onions, kale, collard greens, and watercress also help glutathione, which will help kill the bad bacteria. So those are good foods to have in your cabinet or refrigerator at all times. Fermented foods are really healthy for you. Yogurt, plain yogurt, no added sugar, anything like that. Natural is best. Kimchi, really good to put. I'll put kimchi on my salad. Sauerkraut, I can put that on my salad. Kefir is like a yogurt, but make sure you're getting it from a good source. Kombucha is a drink. You can get the kombucha drink, and you can make it yourself actually, but it's got a lot of good bacteria in it. In Tempe, you can get that at most Oriental restaurants. These foods are rich in lactobacillus and the good bacteria for your health. So they're all really good for you. It benefits your gut microbiome by enhancing its function and reducing the abundance of disease-causing bacteria in the gut. So it's really, really good for you. Fermented foods, you know, your grandmother used to put these things in a can, and they'd have a cellar, and we would eat good, healthy food for our guts. But then we kind of steered away from that. But now we need to be moving back in that direction, making sure we're eating good fermented foods to help our good bacteria. Now, what destroys the good bacteria is antibiotics. And most of us have had abuse of antibiotics because we take antibiotics for all kinds of crazy things that we should never. Remember, God didn't make you deficient of antibiotics, but there are some cases where you're going to have to take an antibiotic, okay? When you do that, you're going to have to make sure you replace that because it kills all the good and the bad. So you have to replace it with some good bacteria. So antibiotic use, any kind of medications, steroids, that they kill the good bacteria. Diets high in refined carbs, like any kind of white food at all, sugar, processed food, white rice, all these refined foods destroy the good bacteria, feed the bad bacteria. And chronic stress. The stress hormones will affect your gut, which will then hurt the bacteria on the good side and then feed the bacteria on the bad side. And then chronic infections also can cause problems with your gut. Okay? So what can interfere with your gut? Of course, the standard American diet, of course, especially the high sugar ones, antibiotic use, stress. People don't realize that high acidic pH. So when you're eating foods that have a low pH, which is acidic, it will grossly feed the bad bacteria and grossly kill the good bacteria. So an acidic pH means your pH is 7 or less. But we want an alkaline pH because we know your immune system thrives in an alkaline environment. 7.2 to 8, whatever in that range, will be really good. And most American diets are very acidic. If you ever drink soda pop, you are just killing your body with the bad acidic environment, which then will kill your good gut level as well. Okay? Now, gut dysbiosis is an imbalance of the good and the bad bacteria in the gut. The bacteria, the yeast, the parasites, the fungus, they'll all live in your gut, by the way. And they're all good, except for when the bad gets out of control, or the bad bacteria, the bad yeast, the bad parasites, the bad fungus gets out of control, then we have a problem, okay? And we call that small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. And then you end up with things like chronic diarrhea and nutritional deficiencies and osteoporosis and all kinds of other problems as well. But you can also have small intestinal fungi overgrowth, which leads to candida. Candida means the fungus is overgrown, and you will notice you'll get yeast infections, you'll get fungal, you'll get athlete's foot, you'll have UTI infections, you'll have skin problems, your fungus will get under your nails and your skin. You also have joint pain as well. So, and then also chronic gut imbalance may lead to what we call leaky gut. Leaky gut causes an array of problems. When you think about your gut is allowing pathogens to go into the bloodstream, it sets you up for all kinds of other problems, particularly autoimmune and inflammatory diseases such as cancer and heart disease. Okay? Leaky gut is a breakdown of the gut barrier system due to chronic stress, toxins, pathogens, abuse of medications and drugs, and infection. Leaky gut can also create chronic diarrhea, constipation, gas, bloating, weakens your immune system drastically, causes headaches, brain fog, excessive fatigue, and acne, as well as eczema. Okay? Leaky gut may also if it stays there long enough, and create leaky brain. Leaky brain is difficult because now the result of the blood-brain barrier has been compromised and leads to protein damage and inflammation. When you get leaky brain, it sets you up for moodiness, memory issues. You can also be susceptible to can't concentrate. But leaky brain, you think about all the people that are having trouble with having to take medications for the brain. A lot of it's because it started off as a leaky brain, which then started off as a leaky gut. So we don't want to have that at all, because you're going to one medication is going to lead to another medication is going to lead to another problem. So we got to get to the source of that problem. Now, the enemy between your gut bacteria and autoimmune diseases is the EG bacteria, which is found in the small intestine, and it can spontaneously travel outside the gut to organs including the liver, spleen, and lymph nodes. Okay. The EG bacteria also initiated the production of autoantigen antibodies and inflammation, which was found in livers of patients with autoimmune diseases. So I talked to you earlier about how the leaky gut can make you more susceptible to the autoimmune disease, okay? So remember, autoimmune diseases typically come about when the spine, or particularly the neck curve, is off. So if you have a backwards neck curve, or you have a really bad atlas angle at the top of your brain, you're putting all kinds of pressure on the brainstem, which can set you up for autoimmune. But the second way you can get autoimmune, that's the most common way, by the way. The second way is having chronic leaky gut. It can weaken your immune system as well, and then also lead to autoimmune. Remember, autoimmune is nothing but your body's attacking itself. Why would your body all of a sudden start attacking itself? There's got to be some kind of miscommunication going on, right? And the miscommunication starts with the nervous system. Now, autoimmune diseases, remember, it's a condition in which your immune system is mistakenly attacks its own body parts. Autoimmune disease have dramatically increased since World War II. Normally, the immune system can tell the difference between your cells and the foreign cells, but in autoimmune disease, it can't, okay? Now, it actually attacks your healthy cells. One of the very most common autoimmunes is type 1 diabetes, where your immune system attacks and destroys insulin-producing cells in the pancreas. High blood sugar can damage blood vessels as well as your heart, kidneys, and eyes, and weaken your nerves as well. And then you have rheumatoid arthritis, and that's an immune system mistakes the lining of your joints as a foreign and attacks your joints. So you end up with a lot of joint pain with rheumatoid arthritis. And then when anytime your body's attacking itself, there's only two reasons. It's either neurological or it's gut, okay? And this time we're going to say gut. Crohn's disease is another autoimmune disease where you got chronic inflammation, a condition of the GI tract, which affects about 780,000 Americans. And the inflammation is a normal immune response, but when it doesn't subside and causes ulceration and thickening of the intestinal wall. So anytime you have irritable bowel syndrome, it usually goes back to some type of Crohn's disease, which was then originally an autoimmune, which then started as a gut problem, okay? Now, ulcerative colitis is a chronic disease of the large intestine or the colon, in which the lining of the colon becomes inflamed and develops a tiny openings and sores in the ulcers and produces pus and mucus, okay? Immune system mistakes food, bacteria, and other material in the intestine for foreign substances, which then causes an autoimmune reaction, which sends inflammation and pus-producing white blood cells to the lining of your digestive tract. So studies indicate that ulcerative colitis involves complex interaction of factors, the genes inherited in the immune system, and the environment. So we're finding a lack of neurological inflammation going to the gut. We're also finding that you had a leaky gut for a long term to create this autoimmune disease. Okay, so that's why we got to hit these things before they get really bad. Multiple sclerosis, another autoimmune disease where your body mistakenly starts attacking the myelin sheath of your nerves and your spinal cord, creating all kinds of problems. And a lot of research is now showing that when the myelin sheath is attacked by your own body, we have years of neurological deficiencies, years of leaky gut, and then also that leads to lack of absorption of vitamin D3 as well, and omega-3. So remember, almost all of us are deficient of omega-3, D3. Make sure we're all taking, a multivitamin plus omega-3, D3. And now that you're learning about all this good gut stuff, we're going to definitely take a good probiotic and add that into our diet, okay? Now, Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune thyroid problem called hypothyroidism. The antibodies attack the thyroid gland. Again, same thing happens here. Your body's attacking itself. Almost all the people who come in here with Hashimoto's, their T1 vertebrae is severely subluxated. When T1 is not at the proper angle or alignment, it weakens the thyroid, setting you up for any type of thyroid problem, and Hashimoto's would be one of those. All right. Also, you can have pressure on the brainstem, and then you can also have leaky gut as well. So all three of those can set you up for Hashimoto's. Exercise and autoimmune disorders. You guys realize, and this is part of our 6 essentials, that exercise has been documented in numerous medical studies to have a profound positive impact on reducing the symptoms of autoimmune diseases such as fibromyalgia, Lyme disease, which is what you get from ticks, as well as chronic pain and fatigue. So, however, too much exercise actually has the opposite effect. So moderate exercise been proven to create a stronger immune system and to help your body get better with some of these autoimmune diseases. Now, remember, when you're subluxated, majority of people don't know when they're out of alignment. They just know they've been to the doctor, they've been diagnosed with some kind of symptom, right? And all the doctor is going to do for you is give you a pill to help you with the symptom. The problem is still there, but you think you're better because the pill made you feel better. So when you're subluxated, and the warning signs that we're subluxated, the most common is headache. But then you also have menstrual problems, you have high blood pressure, depression. Remember, when you get leaky brain, depression is one of the most common things you get, okay? But depression can also have pressure on the brainstem from the top of the neck being hypothalamic, or loss of your curve in your neck, okay? Numbness and tingling down your arms and legs, those are signs you've got a major subluxation in your neck or your low back. Then, of course, neck pain, dizziness, fatigue, acid reflux, any kind of digestive problem. The first thing you want to check are the nerves going to the digestive areas like the stomach and the colon. And then food intolerances, allergies, asthma, all these are signs you probably need to get a checkup. Ear infections, frequent colds, constipation, sleep problems, eczema, skin problems. Always check the nervous system first when you have these warning signs, okay? And the majority of people don't do that because they don't have any spinal pain. And the reason they don't have any spinal pain is because only 10% of the nervous system perceives pain. So that means you could have a major subluxation choking the nerves and you not even feel it. When the nerves are getting choked, it weakens the immune system, sets you up for all these problems that we've been talking about, okay? So always get your nervous system checked on a regular basis. Dr. Pirro has determined that people who are getting weekly adjustments have a 200% stronger immune system, okay? So when you're doing the right thing and you're living out what we call these 6 essentials, you are going to have a much higher probability of killing any infection. And remember, we're all going to be exposed, not all of us, but the majority of us are going to be exposed to COVID at some point. We want to have a strong immune system. We get that strong immune system by, number one, spending our 15 minutes a day in prayer, meditation, Bible study. Then we get our adjustments weekly, like Dr. Pirro says, weekly adjustments improve the immune system by 200%. We do our neck ups and our traction, our spinal exercises. We sleep in our rolls and wedges. We do these things for the rest of our life. Then we make sure we're eating at least 75% close to the vine. Add those glutathione-rich foods back to your diet, like the broccoli and the cauliflower, the sulfur-rich foods, the garlic, and add those back in, and then add in the fermented foods like the kimchi and the kombucha and the tempeh. All these good fermented foods, really good for your gut, which makes your immune system strong. And then I showed you that study earlier, how exercise improves immune function, okay? We need 12 to 15 minutes. That's not a lot. 12 to 15 minutes of exercise per day, okay? If you don't know what to do exercise-wise, start off with the nitric oxide workout. It literally takes 2 minutes. You can do it every 2 hours to improve metabolism, okay? And the nitric oxide workout is actually online now, and it's a real short class to watch. But I want you to get in the habit of doing these things the rest of your life. And then we're going to do a chemical detox. We have a 10-day, a 21-day, a 28-day, but we need to get rid of toxins because toxins build up. They cause pathogens, and then the pathogens set us up for leaky gut as well. So we don't want any of this bad stuff happening to us. So that's why we're going to live these 6 essentials for the rest of our lives, because we know that all sickness and disease is only coming from 2 things: deficiencies and toxicities. Number 1 deficiency, decreased nerve flow coming from subluxations that we don't even feel. Number 1 toxicity is unfortunately the abuse of medications, because you were taking medications and antibiotics which killed all the good bacteria. All these steroids we've taken in the past, all these things have just killed all our good bacteria, and it's weakened our immune system and set us up for more problems down the road, okay? So we want to make sure we're doing all these 6 essentials. And remember, God made your body to heal naturally. You don't need a lot of help from the outside. You just need to make sure you're getting it what it needs. Get your adjustments. Spend the time it takes to keep your body healthy so that when the COVID does come or any kind of infection comes, your body is a cancer killer. Your body is a COVID killer. It's not carrying COVID to the next weak person. We want you to be strong so you live out these principles. So any kind of sickness that comes our way, kill it instead of carrying it to the other people, because everybody out there is in fear that you are a killer. That's why they want everybody to wear the mask. And I agree with that. Most people are weak. We all should be wearing masks. But if we were all strong, nobody would be talking about masks, because we would have already killed it ourselves. God has made our bodies with a natural ability to heal. Now it's time to take over and apply these principles so we can stay healthy for the rest of your life. Thank you so much.